Peace and welcome to the channel, guys. I'm Jakalo, and today we'll be continuing our series of Voyage, where I utilize principles from the book The Art of Competitive Pokemon by Mr. Jamvat. And these principles enhance my gameplay, but they can also enhance me as a person too, if utilized properly. Now, last video we went over the principle of practicing team preview, and I just wanted to show you like how valuable it is again, because doing this repetitiously enables us to see insights that will help us greatly achieve victory. Because practicing how to win, how not to lose, what you could have done better, how you could have led better, all those kind of things add up, and just the more you're familiar with that process, it'll make your battling so much more purposeful. But since then, Regulation E has been announced, so I will be transitioning over to that format because the majority of players have moved to Regulation E. So just for the sake of finding faster battles and new content, we'll be battling in that format. I will still go for the top 50 challenge, and that's just going to be a side quest of mine. When I do manage to get it, I will upload a separate video commentating over some of those interesting battles, but definitely stay tuned for that. But with that said, today I will be using a new team, so before we get into the battles, I just want to show you a quick little breakdown about it, and then we'll get right into it. So this team here is kind of like a bulky Tailwind. Tailwind balance, that's a better way to say it. Tailwind balance. Now I have the Scarf Landers here, which really makes this team work because the team is very weak to Chien-Pao. It's very susceptible to speed boosting Flutter Mains, but just having a Scarf Landers allows me to be able to pressure the things that naturally pressure me just based on their offense and their speed, and then being able to pivot or potentially one-shot them with Terraflying Terra Blast. But because of the synergy that I have with the Firewater Grass, if I don't want to stay in versus a Chien-Pao, I can just U-turn into Urshifu depending on its partner, or Rillaboom if it's Flutter Main, Specs Flutter Main with Moonblast, because we take that pretty well with the spread that we're running here. And then Heatran, even though it is an offensive Heatran, like Heatran is so naturally very bulky, so it can still take the Moonblast, the opposing Heatran Heat Waves, obviously with Flash Fire ability. So that's kind of the style of that's kind of like how the team works. And then we have Tailwind because I just want that extra speed control. And then Taunt Flutter Main too. This helps a lot against Crest teams. And then coupled with Rillaboom, it's very difficult for me to lose unless I just don't play well. Unless they have like a Dragonite. If they have a Dragonite, then I have to use my Heatran mostly to beat that. But yeah, it's really difficult for me to lose those matchups unless I don't play well. Now, I used to have Knockoff here, but since this is Regulation E, I gave it Grassy Glide, which I do prefer Knockoff, to be honest, like just on this build, but we'll see how it goes. But that's the team, guys. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into the battles. Okay, Regulation E. Let's go ahead and find our very first battle of the new regulation. I'm about to glide on some people, but just like last video, we're going to be doing the breakdown after every game. So I'm not going to show you guys the whole process of me sitting there looking like a statue. I'm gonna do that on my own. Pause the video, then we'll get right into it so you guys can see the thought process and the game plan. Chandelier, yeah, that thing's returning, that's right. Now these I guess they're mythical Pokemon. I don't really know too much about them other than the Ogerpon, because I've been watching some videos on it. I don't have the DLC yet. I'm going to get it in the future, but because I'm mostly playing on Showdown right now, but I don't know too much of these, so we'll just kind of learn as we go. But Heatran is phenomenal here, just right off the bat. Heatran, the main impediment to my Heatran, does this get fighting? Poison Fairy. It depends it depends on this wild card here, but other than that, just want to deal with these ghost types. So how we want to approach this, because I do have Taunt Flutter. I'm actually going to go Flutter and my Torn so I can be faster than this Dragapult, and then we'll have Heatran in the back along with, how's Urshifu here? Urshifu's alright. Urshifu's okay, but Landers would definitely be a lot better. as they lead this. Not too sure what to make of this. I know this thing can like discharge or parabolic charge if it gets that. So my game plan is just to remove the things that can potentially remove my Heatran, which is the Dragapult and the Chandelure to an extent. So these two don't really matter too much to me. But if I can remove one, I do want to get rid of this Amoonguss or nullify it. So I'm actually going to just taunt Amoonguss and protect here. No need to just throw my Torn away. As this is, what is that, Coil? Coil, okay. We're not playing with this. It's not AV, so I know it's not taking this Moonblast very well. But we're not playing with this. I would rather prefer to Terra my Heatran, but it's okay. We don't have to Terra it to actually win. Now we just connect Bleakwind, we'll be alright. Well, we didn't connect, so okay. He's just, hey, that'll work. So now I have an option. I could let Torn attempt to hit another Bleakwind, or hit its first Bleakwind rather, or I can just Shadow Ball and Moonblast this slot again. But I know Shadow Ball is my better play all around into the Electros, because let's say Electros or Amoonguss or Electros drops, Bleakwind will get the KO, and then if he wants to Terra too, that Terra is going to be pointless. Yep, so now since I've Terra'd the Chiyu is somewhat of a hindrance to my Heatran, but we still have Scarflando in the back and he cannot Terra. So knowing that, I'm going to protect my Flutter Mane and I'm just going to Tailwind. Actually, I don't have to do that. Let's see, because let's say Dragapult protects, I get overheated. If he wants to do that, then you'll be at -2. Dragapult's still in. I get to just Bleakwind and Flash Fire into this because you can't protect. Yeah, so I'll make this play. Oh, Sucker Punch. Alright, so we lost that. That was expected. I could have just gone Landorus, but it doesn't matter. We'll just Earth Power and Bleakwind, and that should be game. It's a good thing we had a game plan going forward, because my Torrent's sitting here missing all these Bleakwinds, but hitting Bleakwind wasn't a part of my win con, or was it something I really needed to win at all, so yeah. But let's go ahead and break this down real quick. Okay, so I have my breakdown of how I'm not going to lose and how I'm going to win this battle. So I let it play in the background as I read off what I came up with. I write this stuff down when I do this, just because it's valuable to take what's in your mind and, you know, put it into reality. So translating that onto something like paper, and it also makes your ideas like more concrete. But with that said, so how I will win, I would. Okay, that is too loud. That is too loud. I got this headset on. I heard that. I know y'all heard that too. Let's rewind. Let's turn this down and let's restart that. All right. So how I would win. Get Heatran in with Dragapult and Chandelure weakened or removed and be under Tailwind. Like I mentioned when the game had first begun, that was going to be my main priority, was getting chip on the Chandelure and the Dragapult, or remove them, just so that my Heatran could have an easier time, and just cleaning up everything else. Because y'all saw Heatran, like offensively, like they have no switch-ins for it. But I will lead Torn and Flutter Mane to exert pressure immediately on both Chiyu and Dragapult and Chandelure. And if I get chip on Chiyu with the Moonblast, then Heatran could come in and Heat Wave, or Earth Power if I need to, and just remove it without it surviving on like a little bit of HP or anything like that. But then my end game, I'm not sure if y'all saw it actually, but my end game idea to just win would be to get Heatran and Lando in as my last two, and then just click Heat Wave and Terra Flying from there. Now, how I would not lose this battle, I would preserve Heatran until Dragapult has been chipped or removed, as well as Chiyu, and then I would stagger Tailwind if they lead Chandelier to scout the Trick Room, because if they scout the Trick Room and I get Tailwind up, that's a no bueno. And then just being mindful of the Phazanthropy, I believe that might be how you say it, this thing, because again I don't know what it does, but I know my Heatran can beat this thing just based off of its typing, unless it's like some wild card that has like Earth Power or something like that. But yeah, but that was my game plan, that was my breakdown of that. Hopefully as y'all watch the battle y'all could kind of see that better too. But with that said, let's go ahead and catch our next one. Yeah, this is a new format too, so I'm going to be seeing a lot of Pokemon that we generally wouldn't see. And again, this is like my first time actually playing on this on this format, so obviously I'm like bottom ladder at the moment, so we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff, a lot of interesting stuff. Last game too, I did kind of consider putting Knockoff back after I was breaking that game down, because I was looking at the ghost types, especially like Dragapult, even well not Chandelier, but more so like Dragapult. Like Rillaboom can't touch it, or Shifu can't touch it. Heatran, it does okay at it. Landorus, I can't even intimidate it, and I'm not one-shotting Dragapult, that's not happening. Yeah, so like the only thing that can potentially one-shot it and remove it is this, so, or even do like decent damage without me having to like sacrifice something. So that's kind of what I was thinking about Knockoff. But enough of that, let's look at the battle in front of us for now. So again, Heatran is phenomenal here, so I will use Heatran to win this game. Now, as we can see, they have, does this get Flash Fire? No. Say they have no switch-ins pretty much, because I'm not counting Noivern, and it's not doing anything in return to me, and it's frail. So they have like no switch-ins really to Heat Wave, and if they do switch in the Typhlosion, it's taking roughly 40% from the Heat Wave, or probably 35. I won't be so rough on Typhlosion. But with Flash Cannon, you know, this isn't doing anything offensively. This isn't really doing too much, but I do need to be mindful of Terra. Now, their team is fast, so if I'm going to go towards the Heatran endgame, well, let's ask this question first. How do they even beat Heatran on lead? Unless they lead Typhlosion and opt to Shadow Ball me. But if I lead Tailwind and they don't, I can outspeed it and Earth Power it, or even play it safe in Tailwind and then get Landorus under Tailwind with Heatran, which those two actually are very oppressive. So I'm actually going to use Heatran early with my Landorus in the back. Likely going to Terra Flying my Landorus if this does go the way I'm expecting it to go. And I'm not bringing Urshifu, I'm bringing Fluttermane, simply because Fluttermane offensively is amazing into their team too, and it outspeeds everything barring the Noivern. I'm sorry, not everything. It doesn't outspeed the Torn because I'm not the fastest Fluttermane. It's got some speed, but it's not like that fast. So this is the lead here. I'm going to do myself a favor and check what Shift Tree gets this format, because I'm not about to get taken by surprise here. I know it gets like a fighting move like Brick Break or something. This is actually double OU now, wow. I wonder if they have yet to vote on it, but I'm surprised it's double OU now. Oh, okay, it gets Fake Out. Fake Out, did you get Brick Break, right? Yeah, Brick Break. Okay, nothing too concerning. Alright. So it's not, it's unlikely to one. Oh, it gets Wind Rider. Huh. Oh, so I can't even Bleak Wind this thing, and I can't even oh, okay. I see what you're doing. Let's go Landorus and protect this turn. Alright, so we just totally nullified that, protecting my Heatran from that. What they can do here is Solar Blade my, or whatever it's called, my Landorus, and then Bleak Wind. The Shift Tree needs to go though. But him doing that is telling me like he has no better options to hit my Heatran, and I already said my Heatran is very good. So I'll actually leave my Landorus in and attempt to U-turn out. And I also did say that I'm okay with tearing my Landers this turn, so we're just going to go hard Torn again. If he knocks off in Bleakwind, we should take this. Oh, Leer. We're still faster than as well. Yeah, so potential knockoff coming into my Landers. Now this may seem a bit aggressive, but I'm going to go Flutter Mane because is that the play? If he goes for a grass move, my Flutter Mane's probably dead. Actually, no, we didn't get, yeah, no, Flutter Mane's not Leer, that's right. I'm sitting here thinking he's like +1. But I did that just in case he wanted to knock off that slot, that way my Flutter Mane wouldn't take a ridiculous amount. And now we can just safely target the Shift Tree slot. And I've also stalled out their Tailwind too, but there's a good chance I might not be able to stop them from setting up a second one, but I'll try. Yeah, that's max speed Torn. Okay. I'm not going to go Heatran yet still, just in case he has that Typhlosion. Oh, but this comes in. Yeah, I don't want to see this. Because I want to double target Torn here, but with this on the field, it just makes it to where they can just do disable stuff or whatever. But I'm gonna still double target Torn, because if this is max speed, we're still getting outsped anyways. And I'm a Terra Blast. I don't want to miss. Rock Slide is a better play here in my opinion, but Terra Blast is more safe. Disabled, okay. That's fine with me. Like I said, my priority there was denying Tailwind, but now they go this. I know this gets Trick Room, but other than that, what else are you doing? So I'm inclined to leave in my Flutter Mane, even though it is really good. So see, like, this depends on what they want to do. If they protect this and if they protect this and just be aggressive and disable my Landers, that's not good. What do I need to win? This thing can't beat Heatran, so what we need going is the Scream Tail. That's my priority. Oh yeah, Terra Fairy, that's right. Everything's mad bulky. Say we did 35. It's probably a roll. He has Zen Headbutt too. I'm still going to double him. Yeah, because like they're defense boosted. I just don't see them having Protect, especially after seeing defense. Oh, Divine Blessing or Revival Blessing. We're still outspeeding Shift Tree, but it gets Fake Out. I'm just going to taunt this thing. Yeah, let's just get that out the way. Yeah, and go ahead and they try to do it. I didn't even cast a Leopard Berry, but yeah. Like last game though, let's break this one down real quick. Now for game 2, what I have to present is that for us to win the game, we're going to lead Landers Torn. Actually, let me pause it right here, because here that's when I was like deciding. Oh, I was researching to see what Shift Tree got, and then I saw Wind Rider, so I wouldn't lead Heatran there actually, because simply that I couldn't Heat Wave, and so he actually had a way to guard against Heat Wave in that, and I wouldn't want my Heatran taking all that damage right off the jump, because it's very important in this matchup. So I would end up leading Landers Torn, that way I can U-turn out if I need to, and I can also negate that Wind Rider proc if he does go for Tailwind, and then I can get the chip on this Sash here. You know, I didn't know this, it has Sash already, but get the chip, pivot into Heatran, because if you're going to attack Landers, you're going for knockoff, or you're going for a grass move, and Heatran will take both of those, but I would rather my Heatran be able to come in as a way to guard to an extent, rather than just sitting on the field and doing nothing. So yeah, and And then I in-game with Fluttermane too, so Heatran is there to take some of those hits, so I can in-game easier with Fluttermane. But this Torn Landers lead, let me play it. Torn Landers lead is like very oppressive to everything they could possibly lead to me, and I could always just U-turn and pivot out depending on if the matchup is not in my favor. But yeah, that's how I would win. Again, late game Fluttermane, use Heatran defensively, and lead Torn Landers, so I could do what you see right here. If I had led that, that's exactly what I would do. I wouldn't go Fluttermane, but I would go Heatran. So how I would not lose this game, I would preserve my Fluttermane to the end game to beat their once Shift Tree is gone. Because once Shift Tree is gone, my Fluttermane, it goes in. It outspeeds everything to barring the Torn, but Torn's not doing a crazy amount to me. Noivern really doesn't pressure Fluttermane from what I believe, like the moves that it gets. So yeah, and then as y'all saw from what they had with the Robska, was it? Yeah, Robska and Screamtail, like it's good into that. Like you couldn't do anything about it, even though he disabled my Moonblast, but I had Shadow Ball, so it didn't matter. But that's how I would not lose this game. And again, I noticed as I was going through this one too that games like this, because I'm in low ladder right now, games like this are actually very helpful to practice things like breaking down team preview and seeing how you can win and how you can avoid losing. Because the higher you get up, you know, the more intricate games get. I mean, it's still the same principles, you know, it's still the same method of breaking the team and all of that down, but you know, players are just much more experienced up there, and you know, just you got to get acclimated to it. But it's definitely, I can tell, a lot more, it's a lot less taxing on me processing some of these games down here than I do up in higher ladder games. So for you guys that are just now getting into this, trying this stuff out, definitely make you an ult account or something that you can just start out fresh. I've even thought about making just a fresh account, just practicing the principles from this book, because like just working your way up gradually, that's the way to do it. You know, you don't ever just want to jump up and try to run with the Olympians or anything like that. But I do have an ult, but we'll see. I mean, I'm kind of just taking it as I go, but we'll see. That's Ogre Pawn, Grass Rock. Okay. So with that said, Grass Rock. This one gets the defensive boost if I remember correctly. Okay, what do we need to win, and how are we going to win this game? I'm noticing that my Heatran is pretty good again, offensively and defensively. The main offensive threat to my Heatran that I recognize is that Sneasler, but I do have Scarf Landers, which is very good into everything that they could possibly lead into me, because I have pivot. I have the opportunity to pivot, and I get intimidated off on their fully physical team, barring Torn. And I'm not about to let myself get outsped, so in case Azu's in the back. Well, no, let's back up, because nothing is outspeeding my Landers that can actually like offensively do a whole lot to it. Because if they lead Torn and anything else, like, yeah. So I'll lead Torn, and I'll lead whatchamacallit on the bench. So my thing here was that I wasn't going to lead Torn, because like if they brought their Torn and anything else, the only thing they could have would be like Sneasler that can outspeed my Landers really, or Rillaboom, but then Rillaboom has to deal with Bleakwind, which it doesn't want. But I'm glad I went this route, because they let Azu, which I was concerned about, which is why I didn't want to necessarily lead it. But in retrospect, I could have led Landers Rillaboom with Heatran Torn in the back. So like I said, I want to get rid of Sneasler ASAP, because of my Terra, like it's too much. So here I'm not going to let them have their way. I'm just going to go hard Rillaboom here and attempt to Bleakwind for damage in case he does fake this slot out, so I can at least get some value. Because I really don't need Tailwind up at the moment. I'd rather just... That miss is unfortunate, but we do get chip on Sneasler, which is nice. Okay, so this is Belly Drum. So there's a good chance I'll see a Terra on Azu, because they did go that route. Now, the thing here is that if they Terra flying this Sneasler, Azu can't Terra, but I can definitely see my Rillaboom being the target here. So we're going to go about this. I'm not even going to fake out this turn because it just won't matter. Aqua Jet and them outspeeding me. Well, I have Grassy Glide. I do have Grassy Glide, but they're +1 defense. I'm going to go for Wood Hammer because I want to remove this Azu, and I'm going to Bleak Wind as a Terra Watered. Okay. Okay, you don't want to see that. And I could have glided, but like that, it wouldn't have KO'd. But I mean, I didn't account for Rock Slide. I did have Scary Face too, which actually would have been an okay play, since I had my Scarf Landers in the back. Yeah. I have to go Heat Train here and try to I'm a glide. I'm not about to get flinched again. I'm just gonna glide. Yeah, we're gliding again, and we're gonna get an Intimidate off here. Intimidate lets my Rillaboom take any hit much better, and it also yeah, because Grassy Glide, I'm faster than Azu. I'm going to KO this thing before it can KO my Landers. So now that Torn's out of the picture, we can still win because I do still have Heatran to my I still have Heatran, which can help me against their Rillaboom and their Arcanine, and I still have Landers as well too to intimidate this Ogerpon if that's in the back. Okay, so now Sneasler's just a sitting duck. So depending on what they go into, okay, Rillaboom. This is where the Scary Face would have been nice, because here I could just remove this and then go hard Heatran on this Wood Hammer or whatever they want to go for. Because now my Rillaboom's being pressured, but do I need Rillaboom for anything else this game? Honestly, I don't. It's okay into Ogerpon, but if he's going to give me Sneasler, let's see. Because Sneasler should switch out here. But I need Heatran to win, so I can't make a super aggressive play like that. I want to attempt to U-turn out. Actually no, we're going to Wood Hammer this slot because like I said, I need this thing going if I can. I'm going to attempt to U-turn out as a fake out. Okay, if I got that U-turn off, I was going Heatran obviously, but them making that switch is great because now I can just U-turn on Ogerpon, and then do I want to U-turn? Because if he Wood Hammers this slot, Landers is coming back in. It's not going to faint, but fake out might be enough to KO it after that. What can this do to me? Oh, it's a grass type. Yeah, it can definitely do something alright. We're going to U-turn on Rillaboom. Yeah, we're going to U-turn on Rillaboom with my Rillaboom and U-turn on this Ogerpon. Oh, Heatran. That was a bit aggressive, I will say. In hindsight, I don't think that was actually the better play, just in case they wanted to Wood Hammer that slot, and then you know, my Landers would be like on its last legs, and we drop to fake out, and then it would come down to me hitting Heat Wave. Because if he doesn't fake out, then what would I lock in? I lock into Stomping Tantrum, yeah. No, because I'd have to leave it in. If I left it and got Wood Hammered, I'll see. When I break this down, I'll think about it more because we're still in this battle. So they have to pick here. I really just need to hit my Heat Wave, but I'm not even going to bother with that. I'm just going to go hard Rillaboom and protect. That way I can get fake out pressure. I can fake out the thing that I don't want to hit me. They have Drain Punch, so I highly doubt that they have Stomping Tantrum. Even if they did, it won't KO me because Intimidate. As we did miss, so this is exactly why I made that swap, just to cover my behind. So now this is at -2. We just U-turn to win the game. I can keep clicking Heat Wave, but we may as well just click Flash Can so we can hit our moves and get this over with. And that's all she wrote. Okay guys, so I got the game plan for you, and to be honest, it is actually very similar to what I was already saying before the game even started. And that just goes to show you that the more you practice this, the more refined your game planning will be, and the more you know, you'll start getting the hang of it. Now, like I said before, my game plan was to remove this Sneasler first and then Azu, because I wanted to go the Heatran in-game route so that I could clean up with, because as you see, the remaining 4 don't do anything to Heatran, barring Rillaboom with high horsepower. I think it get high horsepower now I say that, but I have Landorus still to intimidate it so that we don't get one shot, plus I have Terra as an option if we need to. But this needed to go because this poison fighting typing was very oppressive to this, because I'm Terra Fairy. So by me leading Torn Landorus, it covers for the Sneasler lead. It helps me pressure Azu immediately. I mean, it helps me weaken Azu immediately, and it allows me to reposition if I need to, which I do here, as y'all will see. But if they ended up leading their own Torn, then I would have to Tailwind so that I could cover my own, so I could cover myself so that I wouldn't get outsped by some wild card Azu or like Mystic Water Azu, Bandit Azu, whatever. But I don't want to get outsped by what they have, because their team does, like, they have hard hitters. They have Azu, they have Ogerpon. But the beauty of this is that my team, I have the Intimidate, and everything else is, their whole team is physical for the most part, so Landorus is very valuable for that. So how I will win this game, again, I will remove Sneasler ASAP to let Heatran Terra if need be. And because I didn't know what kind of Azu this, I was not expecting a Belly Drum, so, you know, just, if I needed to Terra, I would have it because of that. And again, I would lead Landorus plus Torn to avoid getting outsped, while also being able to pressure everything that they have. Now, for me to not lose this game, I have to use my Rillaboom defensively, as y'all saw me do this game, and my Landorus is Intimidate effectively, because their team is primarily physical attackers. So the more I can weaken them, the less they're doing to me, and more value I can take from them. Now, oh, I already said this, but again, this just goes to show the you know, me getting more comfortable with doing this, but having Torn to Tailwind if I need to. But for me to lose this game was, I just see it was very difficult. Now, I was able to get Heatran in a position in the end game like I wanted to, but as y'all saw me switch in my Rillaboom right here, I didn't want to rely on having to hit Heat Wave, because if I miss Heat Wave, as I did miss Heat Wave, I could have lost if this Rillaboom was high horsepower, and if that was enough to KO Heatran, which I'm not sure. But once I saw Drain Punch, I knew it wasn't high horsepower. There's highly unlikely, not guaranteed, but it's highly unlikely if you're running Drain Punch. But yeah, but that's going to be the last battle for the live guys. I hope you can see the value in practicing team preview, because as I'm doing these, I'm getting more comfortable doing it, and even when I'm playing off camera, I still do it to an extent. I don't always do it this way, as y'all see me doing right here, writing it down, but in my mind I do rehearse it, like seeing what I need to remove, what I need to preserve to win, to a degree. But again, I'm not perfect. I'm still practicing these principles though. But I can just tell, and hopefully you can too, that things are aligning more, like my game plans. I'm not like totally saying one thing and then after the game plan it's like totally something different. I'm getting there, you know, baby steps. But if you saw last live, you'll see what I'm talking about more. How some game plans I would say something in the beginning and then afterwards it's like totally different. But for the next episode of the Voyage, we will be going over another principle. We'll be moving on in the book, and I want to say it's practicing leads. I'm not exactly sure, but this is the book. If you guys want to check it out again to get to help yourself get better at Pokemon. And like I said in my intro, this stuff is twofold. It does help you. It does help us with our own lives as well. If we would just you know, be humble enough to be aware of that. But again, some of you just want to get better at the game, and hey, that's cool too. But yeah, that's going to be all from me from the live. You can check out Mr. Janvat in the description as well, and go check out his channel because he makes stuff based off of the principles that you will find in his book, and he commentates his game down to a science, so you can definitely learn a lot from him. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I'm signing off. Peace.